Welcome everybody to Structuring a Successful Team and the team building seminars that we're going to be hosting over the next month or so. This is number 2 in the series, and I've been meaning to put together this seminar on team building for many years. I ran a successful team for 10 years within the company. We were the top team, and put together a lot of different components throughout that process, but also attending a very good seminar that Richard Robbins put on. So a big shout out for Richard Robbins and his team Masters Formula. So we've got a lot of resources from Richard Robbins and building a successful team and helping, of course, the teams within the company succeed. So putting the structure to a team together is often the hardest part. Is you're really managing a business within a business, and you have your own business as well, managing people and sales. And that's often difficult because as we are good salespeople, we are not necessarily good managers. And some of us realize that, and that's okay. Others would like to try it and see if it works. And this hopefully will help you if you're looking to manage a successful team and putting that structure together. And we're here to help. So whether it be from the seminars we do with regards to team building or the continuing support with our administrators that are currently at our offices that can help train your administrators on your team, as well as coaching and putting together things as you continue to grow your team. So reach out anytime. The program consists of 5 weeks, the first week being what we've already done, and that is on our YouTube channel. This will be recorded and put on the YouTube channel as well. The first week was team structuring. So talking about how and why to put together a team and your culture and your mission statement, and really making sure that you have the key components of what it is in a plan that your team is going to look like. And if you've done that, moving on to the next section, which is today's topic, is communication systems. Communication is the key to a lot of things. If there is an issue that arises, whether that's in your business or throughout your team, or somebody's upset, or dealing with these issues that come up, I would say 80-90% of the time that could have been avoided with good communication, and 90% of the time, almost to 100% of the time, can also be solved through good communication and putting things back together. So communication systems so important, and I'd like to just give some tips today on the ways to look at that. And the next week is going to be in marketing, profit centers, and CRM. And as much it is probably the most asked question with regards to the team building program is, how do I generate more business? It's interesting. It's probably the one that you shouldn't need to focus on the most. And I say that because good teams and good business models are built through systems and structure and communication. The sales is what you should be doing really well at to begin with. So really, to build out a team, a proper team, that should already be in place. You should already be profitable. You should have a good structure to where your expenses are, and how to reinvest that and create more profit. So a return on investment. So we're going to go into additional profit centers, as well as what your profit centers should look like or could look like with regards to a team. And then sort of near to what I really focused on and on our team is making sure that the seller journey is communicated throughout the team and it's consistent. So what does a seller go through in terms of their experience with you, with your service, right from the beginning to the end of the transaction, and how they're going to, at the end of the transaction, think that, wow, what a smooth process. All the key components were in place. They stayed in touch with me, and that complete seller journey should be put together. And then, of course, the complete buyer journey as well. So if you have all these key components to your team, you will be successful, hopefully. And of course, there's always more things to talk about and chat about. So I'll open it up at the end of this seminar. Don't feel that will be put onto the YouTube channel. We always sort of pause it at that point in time. Don't include the open discussion on the YouTube channel, just to keep everyone open to chat without the fear of recording. So the only thing that'll be recorded is, of course, this presentation. And let's keep that to a minimal throughout the presentation in terms of asking questions, just to, again, limit editing, as well as having a smooth video that people can watch that's not 2 hours long with too much dialogue, open discussion, and so on. So we'll just keep the questions mainly to the end if you could. Write them down, and of course I'll give everyone an opportunity to chat. And I love that component of it, so please feel free to participate. So team communication. I like tools to start off, so that your tools are in place with regards to the communication on the team. Maybe I'll give you a bit of an overview and a background what we're going to talk about first. So communication, and what I mean by that is making sure that your team members are all on the same page. Okay, if everyone's on the same page and everyone is being treated fairly and know what is going on and why it's going on a daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly level, then, like I said, those problems tend to not come up as much. People are on the same page, and to have the tools in place. And if anybody knows me, they know that technology is something that I like and engage with, but only good technology. Bad technology tends to actually hinder performance and gets people distracted, especially ones that don't work very well. So I only really promote the ones that I know work well. The Google platform is quite good. I know some people are on different cloud-based productivity systems. Google happens to be the world leader. Microsoft has its own product. Apple has their own product. So Android seems to combine a few of them. So Google happens to be the largest. With our email system now at Century 21, we do have everything on a Google platform, and you have the business set of tools. So this is as no additional charge to you to utilize these tools. Not only that, it separates it from your personal account. So as Google works, when you're signed into Google, up on the top right-hand side, you'll see what account you're signed into. And when you're signed into the Century 21 account, there'll be a different set of tools than you would with your personal account. Keep that in mind, because as you search for things and realize, why is nothing showing up in my drive? Oh, I'm in the wrong account, right? So here's some key components that I think should be implemented. And again, having take the concept, and of course you can always mold this into your own systems. I'm providing you with I'll say the #1 in the world. I can back that up. Google would be no problem getting behind that statement and saying that they're #1 in the world. But it's just because not one, we're already connected to it. We already have the features, and there's no additional fees, but also it's the #1 in the world. So there's a lot of different reasons why you're going to use the Google set of things. But if you happen to choose a different set, that's okay too. So feel free to utilize other tools outside of the Google system. But here's something that's sort of on a platter for you. We have the Drive, right? Google Drive, it's cloud-based. And what does cloud-based mean? Cloud, everything on here that I'm showing you with the Drive, calendar sheets, Meet, and Keep are all cloud-based. That means it's not on your computer, okay? It's on a separate computer that everyone that is on your team will have access to and be able to see real time. So if you put something on the Drive, everyone has access to it that you want to give access to. Okay, so we also have a Drive for Century 21 Heritage. If you're curious, you're probably already connected. So if you go to your Century 21 Heritage account or Century 21 account with your email, the Century 21 email signed into Google, when you click Drive, you'll see that Heritage Group Agents is on there as one of the drives to go into. And a lot of this stuff and content that we have in today's presentation is located there. So I'm going to refer to it a few times. But now what you're going to do is you're going to create a Drive folder within the Drive, and you're going to call it your team name. And then you're going to give everyone on your team access to it, so that when you do drop in different productivity things, your meetings, pretty much any of the tools digital tools that you can share with them, the pictures, the social media, different examples. A lot of those things will be stored on your drive and you'll be able to share it. So the drive is a very good cloud-based shareable system so that files are available across the board with the team. Great way to stay on the same page. In saying with that, the calendar is the next thing. And it is time management. It is your scheduling. The nice thing about Google Calendar is it works with your Android, your Apple devices, okay? And today's seminars, of course, just so you know, it's all about what you should have in place. Each of these tools can have a seminar just on that tool, about train and use it. The greatest thing about all this is it's easily found on YouTube if you want to YouTube and or get the resources that are around you with our management team to help you set that up. But your calendar on your device Google Calendar again can be connected to different devices, and this is where you're going to put in your time blocking. We're going to talk about communication systems, daily, weekly, monthly tasks, etc. And if you book yourself for prospecting at 2:00 on Tuesdays on your calendar, it's going to remind you, it's going to time block you so nothing else is scheduled above it, and you get it done. It'll also keep everyone on your team on the same page. As with our team at Century 21, with our management team, Google Calendars are often shared amongst us. So I also know times where let's say another manager is booked in on something, so I won't book in on top of that. So we also share calendars from time to time in different situations, and that's how the calendar can be used. And you'll have to make a decision. I mean, your administrator, for example, would have access to your calendar. So your administrator is not going to book you in on a meeting, or you're not going to book in a meeting when different things are created by the administrator. So the calendar is key. If you do not have a calendar currently set up digitally, you're missing out. And I'm gonna make a bold statement that I haven't made in the past, because usually in the past I tell people, hey, whatever works for you. But when you have a team and you need to share it amongst everyone, a calendar that's on your desk or a calendar that's on your wall or a paper calendar is not going to work. Okay, just does not. It's not going to. You're going to be able to time block for yourself, but now that you've got a team involved, you've got an administrator involved, you got to get on the digital. Okay, it's the only way to be as efficient as you can be. So Google Calendar is super important. Sheets. Most of you probably are aware of Excel spreadsheets, and I still to this day I get a lot of Excel spreadsheets being brought up on Zoom meetings with different times, and I'm in some meetings with other, let's say, third parties or other managers or other brokerages or whatever it may be, and they share the screen. And the first thing I ask is, do you use Sheets? And they say yes or no. And because if they use Sheets, I can ask them to migrate that Excel spreadsheet into Sheets very easily and then share it with us so that we can all participate in using that spreadsheet. So if Bill adds in a number, I can see it and I can add in my numbers and we can all participate. So having the Google Sheets on a cloud-based system, such as Google, allows us productivity-wise to share in the collaboration of the information. And when they make a change to it, because they've added their new totals in for their prospecting for the week, as you would do on a team, that they're updated real time. So Google Sheets will do that for you, and it works extremely well for converting between Excel and other file formats. So Sheets is a very, very, very powerful system. Google Meet. Now we're on Zoom today. It's the only one of the Google tools that I have not transferred over from the company standpoint. One of the main reasons why was because Zoom was so much far ahead of Meet when COVID first started, put it that way. So we've been using Zoom because we're so used to it now. Meet has, for the most part, I think, caught up with Zoom. So it's as effective as Zoom. I know John there uses Meet for his meetings with new agents and doing his training. And so he's completely happy with it. I also use it because people will use it with me. So it is completely effective. And this allows you to have some virtual meetings with people, with your team, for example, and have your team use it with their clients, so that if, yes, we can't get this signed in person, let's say a contract, that at least you can share the screen, show them the contract, and explain it as they go through and do a digital signature. Okay. I wholeheartedly believe the technology should be far enough advanced at this point in time that AuthentiSign and DocuSign has a little meat feature that you can only get signatures if you're face-to-face. So we know that that has been explained. I'm going to continue to push the technology providers to get in that direction, because I think that's like a key component. But if you have a team, or you're practicing getting signatures, or you're using the signature system yourself, utilize Google Meet and record it. Just hit record, because there's your proof that you explained everything, right? I think it's a key component of digital signatures. Keep is interesting. I have just been invited to use Keep amongst our management team. We're starting to use that in order to keep notes and collaborate on things. From time to time, we'll use Sheets, or we'll mostly use Sheets and Google Docs. And Docs is supposed to be on here. I apologize. Docs should be on here as well, Google Docs. So yeah, you keep those documents on there, or in this case, the Drive as well. Keep is like notes. You know how you take a note, whether it be on your laptop or your phone, there's notes. There's actually an app called Notes, and you're taking notes. Keep is essentially making notes and then inviting people to participate in the meeting's notes. So I'm still working on that one, and to see the difference between Keep and Docs, in terms of which one I prefer to have. And Docs is another way just to save a file. Yeah, no, Keep is something I'm starting to use, and it's another cloud-based system that might help as well. The nice thing within there is that you can, and as you see here, you can do voice notes and set time, location-based reminders. So, for example, you show up to the office and it reminds you before you leave to, pick up milk on the way home or whatever, right? So, location-based reminders is nice. And of course, you have reminders on your phone as well to utilize. But within a collaborative group, these are some of the key tools, including Docs. Just pretend Docs is on the screen there. Google Docs is Google's version of Word. And again, it's another thing that when somebody sends me a Word document, I open it up in Docs and save it in Docs, because again, it's collaborative. You can share it with people as well. It's easily saved in your Drive folders. Right? So the cloud-based tools is extremely important. Get everyone on the same system, so that on your team, everyone can collaborate and share within the documents and spreadsheets and productivity tools that we're going to bring up. So let's get all these set up. Let's talk about the team structures, the meetings within team structure. So there's 4 types of meetings I just want to focus on, right? And if you can focus on these 4 types of meetings and get them implemented, I think you'll be pretty much covered, okay, in terms of making sure. Meetings are the absolute most important thing. Teams will fail. Teams will fail based on not having a structured meeting process, whether it be your daily huddles, which is number 1, your weekly meeting, your year-end meeting, which is nice to have, just kind of end the year off, look at all the goals that you've set up. You might have a year start meeting as well as the one-on-one coaching and mentoring. So I'm going to go through these 4 key components of good communication. And obviously the tools that we talked about before is always going to be involved in these, right? If you're going to have a huddle, you're going to have either a Google Doc or Keep, and then you're going to store anything you've talked about in the Drive, and you're going to schedule your huddles or your meetings, any of the meetings on your Google Calendar. So again, those key systems are supported in all 4 of these forms of communication through your team. Let's just talk about daily huddles. Daily huddles are a 5-minute meeting in the morning. Just think about it as that. It's you get together, you talk about the successes of the previous day, what's happening today, what's happening tomorrow, answer any questions. As you know, with real estate, things come up daily, right? It's not like you can have a team meeting once a week and not communicate throughout the week, right? It's another way to keep team members on track and on board. When I had done our team, one of the things I really kind of pride ourselves on is let's get into the office and let's have a meeting almost daily. This is daily. Huddles are daily. You don't call them a meeting because people think they have to be prepared and all this. It's a huddle. And I'm going to go over what to expect in a huddle. But those huddles will take care of the daily tasks and things and follow up. The first thing on a team is to show up, right? I do find, and this is my personal opinion, part-time agents on teams do not succeed. Okay, I've seen a couple kind of stick around and they're doing okay. But the problem with a part-time agent on a team is there's full-time agents on a team. And when you have a full-time agent on the team and they're showing up every day and they're going through the huddle and they're going through the weekly meeting and daily meeting, they're busting their butt and trying to get all the prospects. All team members don't seem to be on the same page if you have part-time agents. Okay, so I've seen that mistake being made, and that the part-time agent seems to be doing fine in some cases, but the rest of the team aren't, and they're not on the same page, and I think it's not quite fair. I think everybody should be on the same page, should be all full-time agents, and everyone should be showing up to the office at least for that first half hour in the morning. Start your day off right? So having this consistency will promote a good team behavior, good communication. Everybody's on the same page. They're not wondering why one person's doing something, the other's not, and all the rest of it. So you can get everything out and open. Okay, so that's your daily huddle. This is an example of some of the things you're going to talk about and how it might look like. So we'll talk about what the yesterday's successes are. And it comes naturally, right? It's just, how did that offer go last night, right? The listing you got, how are you making out with that? Get administration involved. So if there's, can you follow up on that waiver? Oh yeah, I'll do that sales info sheet, right? Those are yesterday's successes and some of the things you might just delegate out. 2 activities accomplished. So what are you guys up to today? Yeah, I've got that meeting at 1:00. The offer presentation on Willow Street tonight is happening. What should I do? So you have those 5-minute meetings about those things coming up, appointments. So offers showing price reductions. Did you get that price reduction? Did you schedule it in? Make it, schedule it. I like to be in on that call, right? So you have those just conversations, and everyone feels like they're involved, and it motivates everybody, right? It's like, yeah, we're working hard at this, right? Listings, CMAs, what's on tap for tomorrow, of course, same idea. And number 6, how we're contributing to the success of the team. So maybe a brief conversation is, hey, that was a great sale you did last night. Make sure you post it out on social, give them a call and see if we can get a picture in front of the sign and schedule that, delegate that out. Social media is always a good one to, what are we doing today? Can we do a quick video, email, whatever it is, right? So some of the marketing stuff, just as a reminder, daily reminders. And it's a quick, and like I said, it should be just a quick 5-minute meeting. It could turn into 10 minutes, but don't turn it into an hour meeting every day, right? That's the important thing, is keep it simple, keep it short, and just keep promoting that positive stuff that's happening within the team. So that's a team huddle. And then you've got your weekly meetings. And this is the most of, like, if there was one thing that was consistent in anything that I've done in the past, is those meetings. And that is so important. Okay. Really, really, really important that it's professional meeting. That 5-minute huddle's fine. We're not talking about the serious stuff in the huddle. We're talking about the, daily task, great, put pat on the back and everything. The weekly meetings is sit down professional. Most agents I see won't do weekly meetings, first of all. Oh yeah, we're talking every day, no big deal. But you'd never have the actual time to sit down and go, okay, guys, here's our meeting. I'm showing you today the weekly team meeting that I used to do, right? You put your team vision at the top and remind everybody every week, I've got your back, we have your back, or remind them every week, like, listen, we're going for the gold standard in Canadian real estate, or, whatever your team vision or goal is, make sure you support that every week. And then you'll do an overview of the different sections, right? So accountability of actions from last week. And I'll have this as, as a structure, and then I'll put in obviously the little details, but, talk about the first one, accountability here that I have was done from Rob Vivian's seminars that we took about 5 years ago. And he said, listen, you got to call everybody that's hot on your hot list Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays. So are we doing that? Yeah, we're doing that. Okay, Mondays and Fridays, make sure the warm leads are called. Choosing your 3 pillars. Has everybody got their 3 sources of income all set up? And you talk about that. Time blocking, the attendance to meetings, how many leads a month to reach goals. So you have a goal reminders. I've got a nice little tool that I'm going to show you in the next few slides that will really help with this. But these are the examples of what a team meeting should have. Sphere of influence is every week. It's just like I always talk about that, and you guys have heard me time after time. How many people on your list? Have you added any more people? Who'd you call this week? Are you doing your two handwritten notes? Are we going to do calendars in the fall? If we have any events coming up, social media, shout outs, all that kind of stuff. We'll be talking about and supporting with the team. So make sure you take care of your 85% of your business and that repeat referral business, because it is the most valuable. What listings are coming up this week? Get everybody on the same point. So down below, always bring your listing information. Yeah, I heard you're getting that listing next week. I want to see that folder. I want to see the checklist of the things so that the seller journey is being supported, right? Do you have your staging, cleaning, photography? We got it up on the website early. Have you blogged it? Have you done everything? That everything that should be done for a listing needs to be supported weekly. Okay, so listings are brought up. Open houses, that was one of my big pillars that we always did on the team, is what open houses are this weekend, who's door knocking, who's doing the flyers, who's following up on the leads, how's the remarketer open house sign-in sheet going with the digital, are you guys using it? All that stuff with regards to open houses are brought up. And then of course, the last pillar that I had was, we did everything really well, and farming was next part of our business plan when I was on the team, and farming is a key component to most teams' return on investment as well. So talk about that. Who you support the farming area, making sure that the postcards are going out, the door knocking's happening, any events that are coming up. Are we making calls? Are we putting out some information on our newsletter, or are you blogging out about the area? So talk about farming. So always bringing to the meeting the listing folders. I usually have them bring and print off their sphere of influence list. I want to see where they're at. That number is so important. If they're at 89 people, I know they're good for $150,000, $200,000 worth of business. Probably these days more than that, because the average price went up. But the reality is that's such a key component. So I want to know, is that list growing? And I always support that, right? Each week discussed wins, losses, prospecting. Keep it positive and keep pointing out all the wins. Okay. A lot of times, like, we're not doing this, we're not doing well. What are we doing well? And let's support us continue doing that, and who's doing well at what. And you have that open discussion, right? That weekly team meeting that I do have, again, supportive things that are available to. There is a ton of resources on our drive under Teams. So under Teams, the full Richard Robbins seminar is there, the binder content, there's accountability checklists and everything. I don't want you to go in there and start pulling off everything and just going in 10 different directions, okay? So when you're structuring things, make sure you look for the things that are in this seminar first, get those in place, and then you can add on to it later. So it can be overwhelming with the amount of content that is in there. So try and stay on topic and get one thing done really well over the next month. Now, the 7 secrets to a great meeting. Because meetings are so important, let's really focus on them. Be consistent. Make sure that they're the same time, the same location, and always have an organized agenda. If you keep it consistent, the consistency of always having the ball rolling in the right direction is kept. Keep it short. Do not do 2-3 hour meetings every week. It's just, trust me, you will lose interest. People will get frustrated. John will tell you, as soon as that 3 o'clock hits, I'm trying to keep it to 3. And that 5 after 3, I know our managers are busy, right? That 5 after, you get somebody waiting. right? So you have to make sure they keep it to that 1 hour maximum time on the team meeting. The location and comfort. Look for a central location. It's no good if you decide that you're going to have it an hour away from where everybody's at or whatnot. So central location, have some food, donuts, coffee, play some music while, people are coming into the meeting. Start off with a motivational video. Think about the atmosphere you're trying to create and that team culture. Be undisturbed. Please do this. And sometimes I have to remind myself, maybe I should mention this when I host meetings as well, is like, turn off your cell phone. Don't keep looking at it. I know it's so hard these days, right? We're always looking at the cell phone. But that will be distracting, especially, and you'll have team members take phone calls in the middle of the meeting. It is super distracting, and they're not getting the information. And it was so important that I did get that information. So turn off, put on silent. If somebody can't do that on your team, they need coaching. They need to be coached, because if you can't not take a phone call for an hour, there is a problem with your time management and the way you organize yourself. Okay. Remember, all your clients, okay, you need to set expectations with, and you need to make sure that they understand the importance of your time as well. They will try and take advantage of it. Trust me. I've seen it happen. They're at your beck and call. And if you don't say, hey, no problem, just so you know, I am 24/7, call me anytime. I usually will respond within the hour. I've even had team leaders on their voicemail say, I respond to my email or my voicemails between 10 and 11 and 4 and 5 every day. So if you haven't, if you're leaving a message and this is in the evening, you'll hear from me tomorrow morning. Like, they'll say it right on their phone, and they set those expectations. And by the way, those are $1 million producers that will do that. And people will want to use them because of how they can, if you set expectations and that's what I'm going to call, and I call, you're happy, right? So it's interesting, when it comes to some of that time management, but do your best to help coach them through that silence. Maybe even put the phones into a box when you come into the room, right? Everybody just take a 1 hour breather. Okay. Be positive and encouraging. So focus on the wins. We talked about that before. So important. The participation, get people participating on the team. If you're doing all the talking all the time, there's going to be a lack of direction, and sometimes it'll just get a little bit mundane. So I know you have a lot to go over and all the rest of it. Sometimes it's really good to get others to participate on a topic, get involved, have a section of the meeting that they're in charge of, something like that. So try and get the participation of everyone. Create some strong takeaways, have that action plan, ask for the commitment, and having those tools, and saying, hey, this week we're going to focus on this. And then next week, you're writing it down for the agenda to follow it up on, make sure that those takeaways were accountability measures, right? Here's that app I wanted to talk to you guys about. I honestly think it's ingenious. It's free. And there was a very, very top team, top coach and trainer. His name's Chris Leader. If you don't know him, you should get to know him, get to know his system. We're currently training his program on Wednesdays. And he has an app that he told me, he says, spent about $1 million on it. He goes, Eryn, if I had known how much and how hard it was to create this thing, I wouldn't have done it. But he created it, and I'm glad he did. Currently, I'm coaching people, or managers are coaching some of you, and feel free to reach out to us anytime, because what we'll probably end up doing as a full group, and you guys are hearing this ahead of time, but I like it so much that I'm going to implement it throughout. And it's just to get signed up, download this agent. It's called Agent Success app. Okay. It will start off by asking you for some metrics. It asks you see these goals. They're just showing you there, 2019. It's up on the screen. It'll ask you, what's your goal for next year? Then it'll ask you some questions. Well, what's your average GCI per close? So how much do you make every transaction on average? If it's 10,000 in this case, it's 10,000. How many weeks of vacation you want to take this year? What's the average percentage of listings that you take and they actually close? And right now it should be 100% if you're effective. But anyway, 90%, 80%. Average number of appointments to get a listing. I go in 3 appointments. Every third appointment, I get the listing. 1 in 3, 33% is on average. So 3. So it'll ask you these numbers. You'll plug them in. If you need help with it, your manager can help you through answering those questions. It'll come up with, if anyone knows what Weight Watchers is, I always sort of say like this is a Weight Watcher type system for real estate. It gives you points. So in this case, this person has 53 out of the 82 points done for their prospecting. Okay. And if you click on prospecting in the app, it'll tell you there's about 20, 30 different ways you can get points. You make a phone call and have a conversation with the day, follow up on an open house, go do an open house, cold call, door knock, everything's on there. And you're going to give yourself points. It's going to tell you how many points over the month you need in order to meet these goals. So it's a really good accountability app. I suggest every team leader download it and have your team members also download it. And under the more section down at the bottom, there is a section there called accountability partner. And you're going to put an accountability partner. And that's, of course, going to be your team leader, your manager, your coach. There's different ways that you can categorize them. In this case, it would be, I think, a team leader would be one of them. So you can add them as a team leader. What that does, it allows them to go in and see your prospecting. Okay. And they'll be able to go through. Every time you give yourself a point or 5 points, it'll do it for you. It also registers and logs the prospecting. Okay. So that you know exactly what everyone did last week. It is ingenious. It is the smartest app that I've seen for real estate prospecting, bar none. So please use it. You will put your wins in there. So you have your contracts, how many buyer, seller, lease, referrals, put your goals. So it gives you a little bit of a something to reach for, right? And show your successes. So it's a really good app. It should be utilized for the next coaching conversation that we have here. Well, go back to coaching. Yeah. Okay. We'll just stick on coaching for a second. So coaching, you are going to do the one-on-ones, the sit down, and really this should do it all. But there might be some other things you're going to be talking to each individual about. So remember your huddles. Okay. You got your weekly meetings. This is the one-on-one coaching. You can book this in maybe once a month with each of your representatives on the team. You're going to go over their productivity for prospecting. You're going to go over how happy they are, if they need any more tools, any things you can overcome for them, help them with, anything that might be bothering them, right? There's often teams, it's a communication issue where they're like, yeah, Billy got that lead last night, and I really think I should have got that lead. And you say, that's good. I know, I appreciate that. And you'll have that coaching conversation saying, Billy got that lead because I'm really trying to stimulate this, that with Billy. We'll see how he does with it. I know you've closed a few more transactions lately. I just wanted to, give Billy a chance. And I hope you'll help support Billy in helping grow his business. We all can be successful, et cetera, right? You have that coach goal. So one-on-one coaching, really important. Keep them on track. Great app to use for the one-on-one coaching, and make sure you schedule that with them on your calendar. Invite them as a shared event on your calendar. Another thing that's really good with the calendar is that you can do reoccurring events. So have it every month, third week, every month on a Tuesday. Billy's meeting with you at 8 a.m. before the team meeting, right? That's what you've booked off for your team member. You should not have to spend a ton of time with your team. If you're spending 5 to 10 minutes huddles every day, 1 hour every week, 1 hour per person per month, and then you have your yearly 3-hour party and review, right? So if you add that up, it's not a lot of time. What it is it's a lot of organization, follow through, accountability, consistency, right? And the one-on-one coaching is very, very important. The yearly meeting, end of the year, time to reflect, right? Look at the successes of the past year. I'll just talk about the next year. Support the team's mission and culture, and look at other ways that maybe you can shift if that needs to shift. Additional marketing things that you're going to put in place. I mean, I've put these things in terms of review the numbers, the new goals, new system and activities, financially review, see how you guys have done in terms of your goals, agent team production, and then celebrate, have a party, right? Take them out for dinner, roll out the red carpet, right? Make everybody dress up, take a limo down to the city, go to one of the top steakhouses, whatever you guys decide to do, but really show the appreciation for a great year. I think is really important. And of course, getting everybody involved. So that's going to be wrapping up some of the key components of team communication, some of the systems and tools. I hope there were some takeaways for you. We have the app and all the different cloud-based systems. Again, there's a ton of resources in that team section. Try not to get too involved in too many of them at first. Just get the systems up and going. And it will take a little bit of time to get everybody on the same page with regards to some of the apps, calendars and Drive and all the rest of it. But trust me when I say in the end, if everyone's using it and you support it and you're having those weekly, daily, monthly conversations, your team will run smooth.
Thank you so much for watching. If you like our video, please hit the like button, the subscribe, and even the little bell to get notifications, just so you can stay in touch and watch more of these great videos.